Good morning, everyone. We have Coach Glenn available. He will start with an opening statement.
Good morning. I think the best way to describe me this morning is disappointed, man, but highly encouraged on things that I saw on tape. From an offensive perspective, I think we played exactly the brand of football that we've been actually practicing, going from OTAs all the way into training camp. Defensively, I thought our front did a really nice job of creating pressure and stopping the run, exactly what we want to do to make a team one-dimensional. And secondary-wise, there's some things that we got to clean up. Man, I love the coverage some of our guys had. I thought Sauce had a really good game as far as challenging DK. That's a tough cover. But I thought he held his own in that situation. We put him in some one-on-one situations, and that's tough going against a grown man like that. But I thought he did a really good job. I thought B. Stevens had some really good coverage. There's some things that he have to clean up as far as finishing on some plays. And there's some things in situations as far as making tackles that we got to do a better job in. But overall, I thought we showed the brand of football that we want to play for the most part. And I'm looking forward to going to next week. So any questions?
AG, I think we missed the first half of your opening statement, but I'm just curious, like, what you saw in particular from the pass coverage that kind of jumped out on film when you went back to watch.
I think for the most part, when we were in man coverage, I thought our guys were very sticky. Obviously, you saw Sauce make some plays on the ball when it came to him and Decaf and their one-on-one matchup. And then we all know, man, Brandon's been doing a really good job in coverage all through training camp. The thing that we have to continue to work on with him is being able to locate and finish on the ball. And listen, I am encouraged, and I do think that as the season progresses, he'll be able to make those plays. Because he's a really good cover guy, and that showed yesterday on tape. And I think some of the zone coverage we got to get better at as far as understanding exactly where guys are and start matching these guys for the most part.
Aaron, just to follow up on the pass coverage theme.
Yep.
With Sauce, I mean, how unique is it to have a guy who can do something like that? Because he really hadn't done that in his career for an entire game. And secondly, my memory's a little fuzzy, but how often, or did you do that back in the day? Did you follow like the number one guy around for a whole game?
You know what? In my career, I was able to do that on a number of occasions, and to me, it makes it really easy for the defender because, man, you can really study and hone in on that guy that you're going against. And I know that's exactly what Sauce did. And there's going to be some games where we want him to be able to do that. And there's going to be some games where he's going to play right and left. But it depends on the matchup. It depends on what we want to do on defense. But again, I thought Sauce did an outstanding job challenging DK, and he is a tough cover. You know, I'll tell you that, because there's a lot of other things that go into that matchup as far as the run game also being a part of it. I think you saw Sauce do a really good job as far as fit against the run too. So we're going to ask him to do that on a number of occasions, and it depends on the matchup for the most part.
Aaron, I know you hit on the penalties a lot after the game yesterday.
Yep.
But I just want to ask you about one specifically, the John Simpson penalty right before halftime. Just curious how you view that, because on the one hand, you have a guy sticking up for his quarterback after he takes a big hit, which I'm sure you appreciate.
Yep.
But on the other hand, then he gets the 15-yard penalty when you guys are trying to get a field goal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And listen, I want our guys to protect our quarterback, but there's ways that we can do that also. Because when you look at that situation, there was 19 seconds left in a game and a half. We had a timeout. I think we was at the minus 41. Man, we should have been able to get ourselves into field goal range to be able to end the half with 3 points. And that's something that we all have to learn from. Is there's ways that we can protect our quarterback without getting those type of penalties. And I know for a fact that John Simpson would do a better job in that.
You talked about, obviously discipline and all this stuff we talked about a lot in training camp.
Yep.
And, how do you address it? You say it's going to get fixed.
Yep.
What are ways you can fix that? Because, sometimes it's tough, like you talked about with John Simpson in the heat of the moment type of thing.
Well, if you look at the penalties that we've had, all right, I think last year we led the league in false start penalties. and illegal formation penalties. Like, we had one of those penalties yesterday. I think Tyler had a false start. So the plan is actually working the way that we want it to work. It's just, man, we have to continue to nip all those things in the bud. For the past 2 years, we led the league in penalties. So when you go out and you only have one false start penalty, listen, I think our guys have been doing a hell of a job of trying to fix that. And we're going to continue to do that. Now we have to get ready to focus on some of these discipline penalties that we have had. It's not that we haven't focused on it, but, man, we have to make sure that we can't allow those things to happen because they will force you to lose games.
AG, I got 2 questions. What did you make of Brees Hall's run style yesterday? And also, were you happy with the way the offensive line responded after putting ABT on IR, of course, and then starting Joe Tippmann over there at right guard and Membu making his first pro start?
Listen, I think what Brees did really speaks for himself. It's something that we've talked about, all through training camp on how I felt like he was going to have, and he is going to have a good season for us. He's a tough runner. He has really good speed. You saw a couple of those runs he made, man, that he should have been stopped for negative yards, man, but he made some things happen on his own, and he ended up getting a tough 3 or 4 yards on that. So I think the way that he played really speaks for itself. And I think it's the same thing with the O-line. I mean, this is an O-line that really wants to show their physicality, understand exactly who they are, and you got to give Mooj and our scouting staff a lot of credit because, listen, ABT goes down, and we put John Myers in, Tippmann goes over to right guard, and here we go. Those guys, they didn't blink, not one bit. And that shows a lot, from what we've been trying to create, all through training camp of, listen, one guy's going to go down. It's not going to stop this train of what we're trying to do.
Hey, G, when you went back and watched film on Justin Fields, I'm curious, was there a play or a decision he made that you were particularly happy with, or something that jumped out?
You know what? I think just overall, the way that he played, I've said this on a number of times. I just want our quarterback to be efficient, and he went out and he did that. Listen, with him in the run game, the way that he that he runs the read option game and he makes a decision on keeping the ball, I thought he was outstanding on that. Some of these throws that he got out the pocket and he set himself up, got his shoulder square and delivered the ball, I thought was outstanding. And to me, those are things that he continued to improve on. And he's going to continue to improve on those things. So this is just the first game. I expect him to continue to get better at that. And I just look forward to our offense continue to build that brand of football that we want to play.
How important is that, the factor with him being able to, there were a few plays yesterday where it looked like the pocket was collapsing, he was in trouble, and he wiggled himself out of it. What element does that bring to this offense where that a play might be breaking down, but he can turn something, make something out of it?
Well, guys, that's who he is. I think each one of you guys were dogging him all during preseason about what he can't do, and I think he just showed what he can do. So, and we're all going to say this, that there are some things that he could have done better, and obviously he's going to feel the same way. But man, this is a step-by-step process, and we know that he's not done with his progression as far as getting better. So the only thing that we're looking at is, man, just continue to be efficient, continue to be yourself, and don't let any outside noise try to distract you from what you can be.
Couple more here.
On one of their touchdown drives, Quinn was out for a stretch of plays. I'm wondering if that was just rotational or fatigue, or was he injured at that particular time?
Yeah, I think he stubbed a toe or something like that, but he's all good.
Aaron, you had to use 2 timeouts in the fourth quarter, maybe earlier than you wanted to. One was right after the Ramsey penalty when you get down inside the 10, and then the 2-point conversion. Just what caused those timeouts to have to be?
Say that one more time. On which ones?
The timeouts.
Okay.
Timeouts in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You used one. I think you guys were at the inside the 10 after that Ramsey penalty.
Yeah.
You used one, then you had to use one before the 2-point conversion. Probably earlier than you wanted to use the timeouts, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What caused those timeouts?
We had a situation where we had a play that we felt like what they were in defensively was going to end up wrecking the play. So I wanted to make sure we got into our best play, and that was the only reason.
What went into the What went into the Lazard decision, and what about an injury update?
Injury update. Kane is the only one who has a hamstring. I want to see exactly what that is, so the evaluation process on him, I'll know later on today. And Lazard missed, 2 weeks of training camp, so we want to make sure that he was up to speed on everything that we were doing. So we'll see how that goes this week.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Coach. Thank
All
you.
right, appreciate you guys.